So I think the best way to start this conversation is the top half is all corporate, but I'm in Malta.
I don't know, I've got shorts on too. Digital nomads. Woo woo. I've just got shorts on because I'm just whatever.
So you gotta just take it how it is, and it's actually one of the key things about being a digital nomad is just you can have the top half on point, but like if you're in your boxes, it's chilled, right? It's just a Zoom meeting. It's just a Zoom meeting. Thankfully,
Don't
that's
let that camera drop.
But from now on, if I do a job interview with someone and I'm like expanding my business, I'll be seeing how serious they are about life, and I'll be like, stand up for me quickly there, please, because you know that all interviews are going to be done on Zoom now from nowadays. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So we decided to do this on a whim, literally off the cuff of being like, we want to give back to the community. We wanted to really talk about where we were, because I do think we are a couple of digital nomads, don't you think?
I believe so. I think we kind of fell into being a digital nomad sort of species. I think that's the new way going forwards anyway. Having, you know, it's that flexibility, it's that work-life balance, and it's what everyone is aiming towards. So many people that you speak to, they're like, I was so close to having a burnout. It's a corporate world. It's sort of one of those things where they think, oh, this is a norm. Everyone's going through it. And then suddenly you see one person break away from the flock, become a digital nomad, and before you know it, they've got a better sort of outlook on everything in life as well in general.
Exactly. I totally agree with that, because let's be honest, like everyone's all about that virtual working right now, right? But they're still living in the city that they were before. They're waiting for their offices to open up, or they, you know, took liberties and went abroad. But it's never a change in lifestyle, right? It's never a change of like, when this is all over, the new norm, yeah, it's not going to affect me, right? So I think the key here is to really drill down the fact that like we've now genuinely become people who've taken stock about like, whoa, hold on. Yeah, we both run our own businesses, so that helps. You know, it helps that we become a little bit entrepreneurial. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure there's so many people nowadays just thinking like, I don't need to pay, you know, this cost of living for so much for so little, when someone's living in Bali and he's like living it out and he's paying like $100 a day to actually do like the world of things. And like some people are actually like, I saw some of these videos, there are people living on $100 a month, man. And you're like, in one spot? No. So yeah, man, it's crazy that you're able to take this stock and just like be like, am I working to live or living at work, right?
Yeah.
Because like 80% for sure. Like even as an entrepreneur, it's probably even more. But like you spend your time grinding, you spend your time working. But what is it all for, right? And I know this as an example, and I never knew that this is what my life would get to. But in South Africa, it's quite a big thing where you would work your butt off in Johannesburg up north, right? So sorry, as an introduction, I'm South African. I don't know if you picked that up from my accent. Everyone that's listening, I really hope it hasn't, you know, faded away over time, because I've been outside of the country for quite a while. But just think of St. Albans, you know, if any South Africans are listening, think of like St. Albans or like a private school, or like, because I was from the Drakensberg Boys Choir, and you know, obviously private boys, you know, that's how we do. And sitting back, I was thinking, and I was like, my cousins work so hard in Johannesburg, in Pretoria, where it's basically landlocked, right? Think of a state in the United States that's landlocked. There's no sea. It's dry. There are some lovely times, don't get me wrong. People there are amazing, but most of the time they earn their money to spend it in December when they're on a holiday in Cape Town or on the East Coast, right? And that's ultimately what it is, right? But now, as a digital nomad, you're able to do that on the weekends because the beach is right next door.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's really like woken the senses. You know, I don't want to get all like hip and say I'm woke, but it's
Well, no, it's the same thing. It's like sometimes, obviously, being an Indian, looking at my culture, I'm going against the grain in a sense, because hold on, I should either be, as my father would say, working for a council, aiming for that good pension, or looking at that sort of thing, or I should be a doctor or a lawyer, or you studied law. Why are you not a lawyer? Well,
you
actually,
studied
that's not
law.
what I
Sorry,
want.
hold on, I didn't know this. You studied law?
Yeah, I
Oh,
studied
gosh,
law.
no way.
And then
It's
I
such a
went to work
disappointment.
for
Like what?
practice. I know, right? Well, I actually worked in an office, hated it. I was like, this is not how my life is going to be. And then, did the whole, okay, I'll go work for a council because, that's the acceptable next move, get that pension. That's what it's all about. And I realized, you know what? I've worked in corporate for 14 years. This isn't for me. I need a life balance, work-life balance. And the epiphany came not from myself, but from my 6-year-old daughter who said, we don't actually spend much time together. And I'm thinking, what? I'm like, evenings I'm here, weekends I'm here. What more do you want? Right? This is the life for everybody. And now it's a case of, oh, okay, we want to go do something on a Friday evening. Yeah, let's go. You're going to finish school early? Let's go do something, and having that flexibility. And it's a bit like a nomad life in a sense, although, yeah, I'm tied down. I've got the kids. I'm not moving anywhere fast. Bali is a dream for me, maybe when I'm 50 and, the kids are off on their own little journey and path, then I can think of that. But, just having flexibility in a day to do what you want to do when you want to do it, it counts for so much.
Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I'm pretty much living that right now because I am based in Pamplona, Spain. But the key with me is like I'm able to take a month and a half and work in Malta with my parents. Um, staying here and just enjoying the sun, lapping up the sun. Going out on weekends and stuff like that because of what I've put myself in, right? So you spoke about your history. I think I'll dive into mine as well. I didn't take 14 years to realize this. I'm just gonna, no shade, no tension. It's just, I don't know.
Never with you.
As a social butterfly and someone who's a self-diagnosed extrovert, but to an extent where I had to really just zone in myself and be like, yo, you need to realize this is who you're going to be for the rest of your life, right? I think that's the biggest thing about self-awareness, right? Is everyone feels like, oh, I can change, I can be a different human being, but when you look at your core, right, that ain't changing. That's not going to change, and most of the time you also don't want it to change. And when you do change at the core, at the root, you start to question your life's decisions, right? But that's also kind of daunting because if you realize who you are and you become self-aware, you're like, goodness, this is now 90 years of this. I can't go away from this, right? So you put yourself in the right proximity, you put yourself in the right area or expertise, or just following whatever it is that's your purpose, right? And what I realized was I was working in corporate. I worked in 2 years here in Malta, and then I moved to Luxembourg. Again, a nice little cosmopolitan spot in Europe, but freaking amazing in terms of corporate. So I looked at the ladder and I'm like, yeah, I could climb this. This is good salary. This is some good dough. And I think the key was it was good. It was a great net save, right? So after taxes, after your core expenses, I was still feeling like, yeah, man, I'm on top of the world, and I'm able to go eat out as many nights as I feel worthy of, because I am a South African, and if I told my grandmother I was eating out every night, she'd be like, "Go get some groceries, man." Like, so there was that. I had to balance that.
You
But
have
at
to
the same time,
control
I still
yourself.
felt bad of going across the road and just ordering Indian. The amount of times I was on the bus heading home and being like, I'm not cooking tonight. So, and I just order Indian. I'd be like, hi there, I know your kitchen's about to close because it was such a late night, and could you give me my mango chicken? And they knew who I was afterwards. Like, oh, with naan bread? I'm like, yes, of course, with naan bread. And and they would then just, you know, get it ready, and I'd have my nice meal. But I'd still feel like I'm busy working in accounting. I'm busy working as an accountant, and then I've got this flow about it. You know, I'm really enjoying my colleagues. So it wasn't a bad. I wasn't running away from anything, right? But what I did feel like I needed to run towards something, and for me it was a big revelation where I realized at this firm I was working for, it was a great firm. I still love them today. I won't mention them now, obviously, because we don't want any like copyright issues and stuff. But I was working with this amazing firm in Luxembourg. Still to this day, think they're top notch. I still send people over there as soon as, like, if they're asking for a job in Luxembourg, if I know anyone, CV sent immediately. You know, so absolutely love them. But I asked them, and once I asked the CFO, and I was like, listen, why don't we have a marketing team? And being the head of the events committee, he looked at me and he was like, we've got you. And I was like, okay, I see what this is. And obviously we all know in corporate, it's timesheets, right? It's just timesheets for days. And my boss would obviously, rightly so, come to me and say, like, so great event, you did well, but where's your timesheet? We need to build the clients. And I'm like, dude, I spent 4 hours packing up the bloody cafeteria because you guys had an amazing time and just left a mess, you know?
Yeah.
But I was never recognized for it. I was never compensated for it. So in my exit interview, I literally told HR, I said, like, listen, if someone like me comes along again, give them that 50-50 split before they just say, like, you know what, I'm gonna find greener pastures, right? Because I would have stayed. I would have stayed in Luxembourg. I can guarantee I would have stayed in Luxembourg if they said, listen, 50% of your time is going to be spent in accounting. We'll find a replacement, like a junior or something like that can then fill in the gaps of the team, so your team doesn't feel like it's you know, lost someone. But the other 50%, we'd love to employ you as the resident marketing thing. So, and that's the thing, is I was doing that. I was sending out internal newsletters. I was sending out internal emails, which was branded beautifully according to the branding of the thing. But they just
it's not easy. People think copy and all that writing, that it's so easy. It really isn't.
No, and especially because Luxembourg is French, right? So the amount of times people came to me and be like, just check this email for me. Like, I don't know if I'm saying what I'm saying is right, you know? And this is like going to top clients, right? This is like managers coming to me and being like, just check this email. I'm going to quickly send it to you on Java. And I was like, okay, you know? So I became the resident copy checker anyway, you know? So it was something I absolutely loved. So then my mom told me, like, yo, listen, I'm running this business. You're doing really well, but I'm having to turn down clients because I have no idea how to service them. And I was like, I can do that. So yes, I do feel like my planets aligned a bit, and I looked at my life and I was like, this is a good opportunity. I also wanted to take my relationship seriously. She was in Pamplona at the time, and I was in Luxembourg. Although I was getting paid for long distance, that's hunky-dory's happy days. But I still felt like I was in a committed relationship without the benefits of a committed relationship, right? And this is the thing, I think, with digital nomads. I think the push or the shove or the real balance is always going to be looking within. What is your balance? You were saying that your balance is with your daughter, right? Your daughter, your family, and being able to spend time with them when they ask, listen, can we get an ice cream? And that ice cream turns into a movie or a walk in the park, you know, and you don't feel like, I've got to get to a meeting. I've got to get to a meeting, you know?
Exactly.
So I think always looking forward. I mean, I was doing some research earlier, and so the definition of a digital nomad is it exists. Apparently, I suppose nowadays with the internet, everything just happens overnight. It's basically a person who earns a living working online in various locations of their choosing, rather than a fixed business location. But let's be honest, that definition has become very, 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 and I'm waving my hands right now, but it genuinely means like it's going to become like all over the place. And the reason why is because if we just like dissect that definition, we're looking at earns a living, yes, okay, working online. That's really important because let's be honest, you can't be a digital nomad without working online, right? But various
no Wi-Fi, you're dead. Stuck in the water.
Stuck in. literally stacking. But like, like working in various locations, let's be honest, like we as thing, I'm based in Pamplona now, right? So I'm not working in different locations, but my clients are, right? So my work, the work that I do, if I had to go to the office, would be in the United States, would be in the UK, would be in Malta, but I'm not going to the office because the office isn't where I am.
No,
so I think if we could,
exactly that.
as a couple of digital nomads, I genuinely think we are, we could probably revise that. We should probably speak to Google and be like, yo, you know, fix this, you know? But it's not about where you work, it's where your work is, right? So working from a different location, it's not where you're working from, it's where you're working in, right? Like
Yeah.
what are you working for, or who are you working for, and where does your money come from, right? Where does your where do you invoice? Like, I mean, sooner or later I might be working in Japan, like, but I'm not going to go to Japan. Like, you know, and difference in time zones. Oh my goodness. Like the amount of times I've made mistakes with my South African people. Honestly, this is bad actually. Huh? We had a really important Zoom call. Can't remember what it is. This is how important it was, right? Can't remember what it is, but it was really important, okay? And oh gosh, I know what it is. It just hit me. It was my grandmother's funeral.
No, get out of here, Alessandro.
Yeah, we were on time, right? But my mom and I, because we work with UK clients all the time, our clock is like, if we say a time, most of the time it's an hour behind, right? So
Right.
we said, listen, Nona's funeral is like this is time that the Zoom link needs to be sent out. And we were like, okay, we'll be there. I think it was at like 1, we'll be there at 2 our time, right? So we're waiting, and we woke up and we're like, oh gosh. And we got like 5 missed calls. We're like, dude, get on the call now. It's about to start. I'm like, what do you mean it's about to start? It's still an hour's time. And it was because South Africa is actually an hour ahead in time zone time difference. You know, so when there's daylight savings, it's the same. But when we go back into like winter time, it's an hour ahead. And literally, my mom, my dad, me, and Juliana almost missed the bloody freaking call. And my cousins were with my parents at the time. We almost missed the funeral because we were on the wrong time, thinking that it was UK time, because we just defaulted into think. So yeah, thankfully Nona still got a really lovely eulogy from her grandson and all her other grandsons. But we were there. But it just comes to show you, when you get into like a default, you know.
It's a rookie error. That's all it is, really. We all have suffered from a rookie error, you know, at least once in our journeys. So it's all good. Look, you got there, everything ran beautifully. That's the main thing.
What I wanted to ask you though, as the freaking badass that started your VIP VA, I wanted to ask you how being a digital nomad in the workforce. Now this is kind of like a specific thing. Being in the workforce, how do you feel like you're contributing to the economy? How do you feel like now that you've now decided, okay, this is how it's going to be now, right? How do you feel like you're able to then be bigger than yourself? Because let's be honest, being a digital nomad is pretty selfish, right? You're always looking inward, right? Like the Bali dream, that doesn't include mom and dad. That doesn't include the cousins or anything else. That's me and my family, right? So it's always a selfish look, but well, maybe not always. So sorry if you decided to be a digital nomad, and sorry for the listeners. If you decided to be a digital nomad to be closer to your grandparents and
you're all selfish.
Apologies for that. But let's be honest, that's still a selfish thing because you value the time with them. Whereas when you work for a big corporation, behind the scenes, there's always donations. There's always like corporate events. There's always that added. Let's talk about taxes for that matter. You know. Yeah. When you pay taxes in a corporation, it's always going back to the community in which they are servicing. Now, we all know there's been a very, very, very big organizations and corporations that have not paid tax. You from your legal background, me from accounting, I know we know who we're talking about. I know we won't mention them because we're not big enough, so we can't like deal with those lawsuits. but we know who they are. They start with an A, both of them. Some of them start with an S. We know who we're talking
terrible.
about. So maybe not those people, but 50 to 100 corporation, corporation, maybe 600 people, they're always giving back, and they're doing so because the tax man is on them. They're making sure that they're paying their due. So how do you feel like you as a selfish, inverted commas, I'm waving my fingers here, selfish nomad, how do you feel like you're able to contribute to society?
Look, it's really simple. I think that as digital nomads, obviously people are going to say the first thing is your costs have gone down. Yeah, that's right. I don't have to commute. I don't need to go and get that office building. We did have serviced offices that we were using. We don't use them anymore because there's no need. But in doing that, as a family unit, I would say, because your business is nothing without your family support, we are able to donate more to people who need things.
Oh, wow.
We actually,
Indian, saying, really focusing on
yeah. This is it. Can't take that bit out of me. It doesn't matter what.
Love it.
But like on a weekend, we can now go spend the day and help out at different voluntary organizations as a family. But furthermore than that, because I'm spending more time with my little kids, where do you think the little kids are going? They're wanting to go off to places that are now open since lockdown has opened up a bit more for us. We're going out, putting that money back into the economy that actually I wouldn't have been putting into the economy in the first place. I wouldn't have paid the time to go.
Charity starts at home.
This is it, right?
But you know what I think that is? It's also a very direct way of giving back, right? I mean, a lot of the times, all your taxes and stuff like that, it will be 5, 6, 7 years before you feel the thing in your local community, because those taxes are then redistributed to underprivileged places and stuff like that. But you would never really feel them at the home where your charity starts, right? So yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, giving the server a 20 euro tip now because you feel like you can afford it because your costs are down. It's directly.
So when you're looking at that gratuity fee, you're actually feeling a bit more generous now that I can give you that.
Well, let's be honest, when you're on holiday, you always give more tip, right? You always feel like, I can splurge, right? I can splurge. And as a digital nomad, you're constantly on holiday. So hopefully that kind of contribution continues to take.
Well, here's another example for you. So a lot of people wanting to meet face to face. So met a few people last week face to face. Where did we meet? We certainly didn't go and get an office to go sit and meet. We actually met at a Starbucks, contributed because bought them their drinks while they're there. B, we're happy because there's Wi-Fi that we can use. C, was anyone wearing formal wear? No. You had people in their t-shirts, their shorts, their flip-flops. Were they still getting work done? Yes. But what was the difference? They're all happy. They're not sat there in their stuffy suits, pounding the keyboard, looking at the time, because all of those people were digital nomads that I was meeting. So they're going from one place to another. Oh yeah, I'm just going away, for not even the weekend, midweek, just going away because I can.
Yeah, that's disrespectful. I think if you go away midweek, that's disrespectful. I'm still not on that level yet. If I have to go to a place, I have to go for at least an extensive amount of time.
Wait, you can never get to that level. No. You're a parent now. Parents don't get to that level. Whether we, it would be great to say, let's go away midweek, but who's going to watch the kids?
Let's be honest. Like, my little one is still very little.
Very little.
So I'm dealing with the fact that, but Daddy, I want to go to the zoo. And be like, okay, we'll go on Friday. What do you mean? It's closed on Friday. You have to go on Thursday. So, I'm not dealing with that. And as a South African, I can honestly say, I'll probably take my kid to a zoo. Never. Because I genuinely don't like zoos. This is like a personal thing. I'm sorry, I had to just put this out there. But like, I know I set myself up, but at the same time, like zoos. After like being seeing them in their place, yes, I know some of them are safe. They're saved from the wild and saved from poachers and all that.
It's never going to be the same.
But like, shame, man, bred in captivity. I mean, it kind of like reminds me of Harry Potter and that snake. where the snake was like, oh, so you from the wild as well? It's like, mm-mm. And he just turns his head and you just read this plaque, read in captivity. Again, I don't know if I'm giving away my age, but I knew that movie off by heart. Like literally when it came out in the cinema when I was the same age. I'm the same age or 1 year younger, I think, than Daniel Radcliffe. So like, or Emma Watson, I don't know. She was a massive crush at the time, obviously, because she was our age, right? Making it happen. But talking about them,
You know what the thing is, though, you've just hit on a point there about the zoos. Now, this is going to sound very risque to other people, but you know what I'm like.
So for all those who are not interested in the next few minutes of conversation, this is a risque thing.
Just put it on
skip forward. Skip forward like 2 minutes. We're back at Digital Nomads.
Yeah, exactly. But don't you feel? Now, this is going to, sound very out there, but we talked about zoos right now. But for me, that's almost the corporate world. Almost, I feel, because zoo allotted time they get their feed, allotted time they get XYZ.
Only get 45 minutes and it gets taken away from them because they're going to see a client or they're going to be on show again.
And then you've got the people who are the digital nomads wandering around while poor them are stuck in their, corporate cages, as it were.
Wow.
I told you it was going to be out there.
That makes sense, though. I love the digital nomads wandering the halls and being like, oh, this is a great thing. Like, they're like, oh, we're gonna go home soon. Like, I hope you enjoy lights out, in the next 45 minutes. Oh my god. Gosh, but you're right. If you think about it, like, I think it's all about being cooped up, right?
Yeah.
Being cooped up, being in a four-walled enclosure that is not your own. It's not your decision to be there, right? True. A lot of the time you decide where you want to work. But if you put yourself down the rat race of corporate society, a lot of the times your 8 hours don't belong to you at all. Like, and the only thing that belongs to you from those 8 hours are the dollars that comes through at the end of the month, right? Yeah. That is it. So you work for a paycheck, you work for that money, but you don't work for something that is yours. You can, and guys, we've all been there. 14 years, a bit much, but hey, and 4 years, we've been in the corporate society, we studied, we did the whole university thing, we did the gig. We understand where you're at. We understand what you're thinking and how you can feel like, but I can't make this shit. But you've also got to understand that those 8 hours, you might feel like you are driven to climb the ladder, driven to suck up to your boss, or driven to genuinely feel like you're contributing to society because you're working for this big company and you're working for someone that is really allowing you to have the leave days that you want, or allowing you to get the benefits or that pension. You're working for that. Fine, fair enough. And if you're happy with that, fine, you found your balance, right? Do you? But at the same time, you've got to understand that those 8 hours are not yours. Those 8 hours are for the clients of this business. Those 8 hours are for the business themselves. And no one else has those 8 hours don't belong to anyone else either. So it doesn't belong to your daughter or your son. It doesn't belong to your husband. And let's be honest, if you are dedicated to your craft, you won't be working an 8-hour day, because you cannot excel in your work by working an 8-hour day. And if you do, you're probably a genius. So well done. You just got the lottery. You won the lottery. But no one in their right frame of mind is able to work a productive day, 8 hours a day, 365. It's impossible. Or shall we say, including weekends, So it's genuinely something that you have to realize, that you might end up working until 10, but when you look back, and this is what pushed me over the edge, I think, was I looked at the corporate data and I looked at my seniors and I was like, I could get there if I applied myself. I could get there. But do I want to get there? Yeah. And do I want to have sacrificed what I needed to get there? And obviously you look at them as examples, and I would genuinely think that you should do that. So becoming a digital nomad, if you're thinking of becoming one, look at your surroundings and take stock. Look up to where you want to aspire to. Find out someone, I don't know, go speak to an uncle who's done it already, or go speak to an aunt that just was a badass at work, and figure out what it is that they had to sacrifice to get where they were, but then what do they own for those sacrifices? Because for me, I just didn't like what I saw. I was like,
yeah.
And that's probably the entrepreneur in me speaking as well, but I didn't like that my life was 80% of my life didn't belong to me, and I had to then scrounge and I mean, look, I love my managers and stuff like that, but the amount of times they told me, shit, I'm late to pick up my daughter. I'm like, dude, like, what is she doing? Like, is she standing outside in the rain? It's snowing. Like, what do you mean you're late? Like, is it closed? Like, it's like, yeah, no, I get fined by the daycare center if I come late, because obviously they've got people, so I have to pay for that hour if I'm late and stuff like that. And not only is it stuck in traffic, because working in Luxembourg, obviously if there's traffic, it's traffic because there's snow on the road. So I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to be known as that dad, because let's be honest, after 15 minutes, the kid's gonna get restless. After 45, they'll probably hate you. After an hour, yeah, no, you're no longer the cool, awesome superhero that you were before, right? So take stock.
It also comes down to that fundamental question, are you happy? Because loads of people, and I say this, you know, after speaking to many people, sometimes we're conditioned in a way to that almost people say, if you have X, Y, Z, then you're happy. But truly, when you look inside yourself, you're not happy. You might be happy according to society's conforms and what they say, you know, you've got a great job, you're going to get a great pension, you know, you're living the dream. Are you though?
Are you though?
It's that whole question. And I think digital nomads is so much more than just you having that flexible lifestyle, being able to work wherever you want. It's about that mentality as well that you've got. I mean, loads of us say, oh yeah, you know, loads of tenacity, tenacious. But what happens when someone actually says to you, no, or there's rejection? Are you able to pick yourself back up? Because digital nomads certainly are. We're from a sort of ilk where it's like, okay, cool, that's not for you, great, move on to the next, you know, wish you a lovely weekend, whatever that be. And you know, I think society has to play in a lot of thoughts that people have surrounding certainly happiness and where their lives, you know, where they are in life, how they're doing. And I just feel once you're out of that corporate world and you have that sort of, you have a different mindset where you can actually put things into different perspectives, as opposed to just having that one almost filtered view that you get when, you know, you go through school. Okay, so you go through school, you've got to do your A-levels. Once you've done your A-levels, you either go to college or you go to uni. What if you don't want to go to either? That option isn't even mentioned.
Yeah, but let's be honest, like, I don't know if it still is, but like, when I was going to uni, like, if you didn't go to uni, it'd be like, oh, you're one of those people. So like, societal pressures is another thing. You gotta. Whew.
Well, over here there was a phrase, and the phrase was "no knowledge, go to college." Oh. So, you know, when you hear some of those phrases, obviously I'm talking years and years back, you know, obviously diplomacy and tact has come in since, but, you know, those older people views, when you hear some of them, they're quite harsh.
Oh, wow.
But it just shows society, doesn't it, really? Their view. It's not your view.
Oh, gosh. Oh, wow. I think we did a great job here today talking about digital nomads. I hope you liked our stories, everyone. Yeah, do you want to talk to us what we're going to be talking about in the next couple of weeks, Arjit?
Yeah, certainly. So we're going to be looking.
Hold on.
Go on.
I have to stop immediately. I just mentioned your name, and I'm just realizing no one has heard who we are. Like, as humans,
we haven't introduced ourselves.
We haven't even introduced ourselves. These people know our entire life story. They know how my grandmother passed. And,
oh my gosh.
but they don't know who I am. So you're speaking to Alessandro Busuttil and
Amajit, right? AKA Digital Nomads.
AKA a couple of digital nomads. Oh wow, okay. Sorry. I'm glad we got there. It took us a whole
we did in the end.
It took us a whole episode, but we got there. Do you want to talk to us about the next couple of weeks, Amajit?
Yeah, so I think the next thing for us to talk about is certainly the topic of travel with digital nomads. Obviously, we've talked about, you know, how we've fallen into becoming digital nomads, what we believe digital nomads are. So, you know, the next thing is travel, although we are in lockdown here. So even that word just makes me feel.
You say that, but like everywhere else in the world is opening up. Y'all people are going down. I don't know what's happening. No idea what it is. I don't know what kind of variant you guys are on or something, but you guys are struggling. And
clearly this nomad has chosen the wrong place for home. That's all I can say. Be careful, nomads.
Bali. But here in Malta, it's easing up. In Spain, it's easing up. So you know, super excited about going back because and it's always been the case where you're able to go to the restaurants with your mask on. So I feel like, you know, and onto the beach and all that. So it's been fun, you know. So
I love how you just dropped the beach in there, like twice you've dropped that in.
Well, you can't be a digital nomad and not have a laptop on the beach. I mean, this evening, what are you doing this evening? Let's end this episode on that. What are you doing this evening? Go. It's a Friday. Go.
I don't know. It's bloody miserable here. What do you expect me to be doing in the evening? I will probably be lectured by my child as to where I should be taking her.
It's a great thing. Like I'm just gonna then say it straight. Your digital nomad balance is internal and family orientated. Let's just like praise you just for a second. I think we should just stop for a second and just praise you for your digital nomad balance as a family woman that has just taken control of the family. So let's just like wait for a second.
Oh, thank you. I'll take a bow now.
Okay. But what I'm doing this evening is I'm going to a jazz bar here in Malta.
Oh, nice.
But in Malta, in Valletta, it's called the Bridge Bar, right? Where this bar only opens a little alleyway freaking sized door where you walk through. They've got a little toilet on the side, so if you need to go, you're fine. It's literally just a really nice alcove of a bar. But what makes this thing amazing is they've got rights to serve clientele on the steps of Valletta. So you get these beautiful steps where back in the past where like horses were able to go down. So there's like these really grand, great, you know, like a palace kind of castle kind of steps coming down, going down this beautiful little walkway, and he puts out pillows like these on the steps, and you're just sitting there. And every single Friday when he opens, the spot is reserved for a live jazz band to just go at it. So that's my digital nomad contribution for the week.
Right, I'm moving to Malta next week, so I'll see you there.
And the little one's coming, so you can't be like he's gonna be like at home. He's gonna be jazzed up for days, honestly.
He's gonna have good music taste.
Oh yeah, he better. Like, he might be disowned if he doesn't. This is on the record, so you will never be disowned, I promise. But, other than that, he just needs to make sure he's got some good music taste. But yeah, I think that would be good. Guys, tune in for next week's talk about digital nomads. We just want to basically really go deep into how digital nomad and being a digital nomad, how that whole industry now, because let's be honest, it's shaping up to be a completely different workforce, how that's going to affect travel in amongst the different societies, different countries and stuff like that. We've done our research and we just genuinely want to talk about travel and digital nomadry. I don't even know if that's a term yet, so we'll see. We'll see how
it is now. It is now.
It's been coined. You heard it here first.
Definitely. And talking about hearing it here first, I'm going to shamelessly plug and say, go find us at your VIP VA.
Anywhere you want. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, it's all there. at your VIP viewing. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's been amazing. I think we went over time. We said 35 minutes, but this has been amazing. I honestly thought this was great. Thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you next week.
We'll see you there. Thank you again.